This video is brought to you by Brilliant. Is Xbox hitting us with more ads? The Xbox dashboard gets a new feature. Phil Spencer has a message for fans. Let's discuss. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. I talk Xbox news, rumors, I do little mini game reviews, I give tips and tricks. I bring guests onto the channel, like last week when I brought my friend Royce on to talk Xbox and Apple and the future of what's going on with them. I talk about pretty much anything I want as long as it's related to Xbox to make sure that you are Xbox ready. So if any of that appeals to you, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. First up, let's talk about the Xbox dashboard. Now, for a while, fans have known that the Xbox dashboard is going to get a little bit of a makeover at some point in 2023. There's been numerous versions of the dashboard being tested in the insider rings for Xbox consoles. And it's been a very up and down journey, guys. So I know I have a very specific vision of what I want for the Xbox dashboard. But for a while, it was like they were just totally ignoring us and being like, you know what? We're going to fill up the dashboard with more stuff. We were like, no, we want less stuff, man. We want less tiles. We want to see more of our background, whether we have like a custom image or a dynamic background. And then Xbox was like, okay, guys, just kidding. We're going to implement some of that feedback. And then they came back with an updated version that was a little less cluttered. It wasn't like the ideal version, but it was a great step in the right direction. Well, now they're experimenting with another feature, this time involving Microsoft Rewards. They say starting today, a random subset of users will see the rewards point balance right from the home screen. To find it, look no further than the top corner where you typically find your Xbox gamer tag. Some users will see the balance as the information cycles, while others will see it alongside their gamer score. This is a small quality of life update that I think is pretty cool because honestly, I forget about Microsoft Rewards sometimes. I mean, I'm in the Xbox app on my phone and on PC getting points every day and redeeming them, but honestly, like, I've just been sitting on them. I don't use them. With this, it's like, okay, at least I have a reminder of like, okay, that's my points balance. Maybe I'll go use those points and actually use the points. Now, they say that some people are going to see it as their information cycles. The screenshot that showcases this looks a little bit more like the Xbox dashboard that we have now. It's got the tiles for the games, and on the bottom has the bigger tiles that serve as ads, which I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm sort of over that. But I am liking this new look guide tab on the top, along with the Microsoft Rewards balance. As a reminder, this feature is only available to a select group of insiders who are testing out this build, but I assume that whenever this new dashboard finally comes out, I've been covering it for a long time, it will roll out alongside of that. Next up, a lot of Xbox fans are worried, and no, I'm not talking about the state of Xbox Game Studios, I'm not talking about Redfall, none of that stuff. People are worried about a recent interview that Sarah Bond did with Rolling Stone, where she basically said that Xbox, Microsoft, they're experimenting with some new things to see how they can serve up ads in-game. She said, we've talked about how we're experimenting with other models, like what does it mean for advertising in games, which is more prevalent on mobile. Are there models of that work well in PC and console? Are there other models where you might have timed slices of games and stuff like that? Now, this is a topic that keeps popping up for Xbox. I remember me and Jimmy, we were talking to Xbox leadership at like the end of summer of 2022, and one of them floated the idea of like, hey, what if we had an ad-supported tier of Game Pass? And a couple of months later, there were some news stories about like, oh, is there going to be an ad version of Game Pass? There's a survey going on for some Spanish-speaking countries asking if they'd be okay with ads on Game Pass or in games. And at the time, I was like, okay, I'd maybe consider it depending on how they implement the ads. It's one thing, okay, you're playing Forza Horizon 5 and you drive past a billboard for Sprite, versus like, okay, I'm playing the new Halo Infinite or like the new like Tatanka game mode that they're going to come out with. I pause the game and then LeBron James is telling me to go buy Sprite. This video is brought to you by Brilliant. Brilliant is a fun and intuitive way to learn math and science. Now, I know what you guys are going to say, Ray, I want to play video games. I want to talk about video games. What do I care about math and science? For all of you watching out there who have aspirations of being a game developer, bringing your worlds to life, not only playing games, but making them, Brilliant offers courses in computer science and programming that can serve as the basis for your knowledge as a game developer. They have thousands of lessons from foundational and advanced math to AI, data science, neural networks, arcs, and more, with new lessons being added monthly. If you want to check out Brilliant for yourself and everything they have to offer, go to brilliant.org/XboxReady to try it 30 days free. The first 200 people to sign up will get 20% off of their annual premium subscription and 30 days free. Thanks again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. But now I'm like, okay, maybe this is just something that they should stay far, far away from. I feel like Xbox is in a very vulnerable position right now considering the past couple of weeks. And if they were like, okay, we're putting more ads on Game Pass, more ads on your console, that would not look very good for them at this point in time. But as a company, I could see why they would be interested in it, because it's like, okay, if we have ads on Game Pass, maybe there wouldn't be so much pressure on like constantly getting new subscribers to fund the content that we put on Game Pass. We'd have a separate stream of revenue to put towards that. But I think ads on Game Pass, ads in games, it's just pushing it a little too far, man. There are some people who have already taken to Twitter and social media and some other news outlets, blogs and things like that, saying that if they did implement this change, they would boycott Xbox. They'd be done with Xbox. And you know what? I don't entirely blame. I think that's a little bit of an extreme reaction considering none of this is concrete. This is all just based off of this one interview with Sarah Bond. But I personally think it's a bad idea. There are plenty of ads on my Xbox already. I feel like the only way that they can make this work is if they just have targeted Xbox ads. Now let's talk about Xbox fulfilling a very important promise that they made just a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months ago at this point. I don't know. I keep losing track of time. For the first time in the brand's history, they are bringing their games to competing services, specifically competing cloud gaming services, including NVIDIA GeForce Now and Boosteroid. Now, previous to this, we know that Xbox made a deal with both of those platforms saying, okay, over the next 10 years, we promise to bring Xbox Game Studios games and make them available on your platforms, and also, if we close this deal with Activision Blizzard, that applies to all of those titles as well. Call of Duty, freaking World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, all of those guys. And it looks like they're putting their money where their mouth is, starting with 4 games on both services. That includes Grounded, Deathloop, Pentiment, and Gears 5. Now, for those of you who do not know, NVIDIA GeForce Now and Boosteroid are cloud gaming services, but they're a little different from Xbox Cloud Gaming. So with Xbox Cloud Gaming, you could stream whatever game that is on the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate library in exchange for a monthly subscription. I pay $15 a month for it. But for GeForce Now and Boosteroid, you have to outright buy the games and then you can stream them. Those titles I just mentioned will be available on Boosteroid on June 1st. And they tease that more Xbox Game Studios titles will be added to the service on a regular basis. When it comes to Boosteroid, and I'm pretty sure this applies to GeForce Now as well, they support titles that are bought through Steam or the Epic Game Store. So if you buy Grounded through Steam, you will be able to stream it on both of those services. But they are working on support for being able to stream stuff if you buy it through the Microsoft Store. And this is cool and all. I know that cloud gaming isn't super hot as of this point, but it also kind of makes me want the things that Boosteroid and GeForce Now offer. I want to be able to play my games I've bought through Xbox through the Microsoft Store through cloud gaming, regardless of whether or not they're on Game Pass Ultimate or not. Like, how cool would it be if it's like, okay, I bought my copy of Elden Ring on Xbox on the Microsoft Store. How about I stream that to my phone? I know they said that they're working on something like that, but I hope that they continue to work on that rather than be like, okay, if you want to do that, subscribe to GeForce Now or Boosteroid. Now let's talk about player safety. Xbox just released their second transparency report when it comes to player behavior, player moderation, player safety. And alongside of it, Phil Spencer had a little message for fans. He said, investing in trust and safety is a top priority for Xbox. Today, we released our second transparency report, which continues to put clarity behind the work we do to protect our players. Xbox is basically detailing the things that they're trying to do to curb toxicity, cut down on bot and inauthentic accounts. They talk a little bit about how they use AI to scan people's gamer pics and images that they upload to the Xbox Live network, scan them to make sure they're not offensive, and if they are like kind of questionable, they hand that off to a human who then makes a final approval. Some things I found interesting include a lot of proactive measures that they take, They said that 80% of the stuff that they blocked and ended up having to moderate was preventative. And they did mention they had a 450% increase in terms of enforcements related to vulgar content, which it's a little vague, just vulgar content that can mean a lot of things. But they further clarified that a good chunk of that was related to just content stuff, not necessarily voice chats or like player interaction. But I will say, so far, I think they're doing a pretty good job. I haven't felt like anything that they're doing is particularly intrusive to me personally, but I already know what people are going to say. They're going to be like, oh, people are so sensitive, they would never survive in the classic 360 Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobbies or Halo 3 lobbies. And while yes, I get it, things are changing, Xbox as a business, I see why they're doing all this stuff. For example, if I owned a bagel shop and people loved coming and buying and eating my bagels, but every time they come, there was a crazy guy or maybe multiple crazy guys yelling crazy offensive stuff at them, threatening them, verbally assaulting them, there is a possibility that over time, even though people like my bagels, would reconsider maybe coming to my bagel shop because they're like, okay, the bagels are good, but I don't like being harassed by those crazy dudes out front. And Xbox is kind of facing a similar problem, right? They want people to have a positive experience when they play these online multiplayer games. So they're like, hey, that was really fun, that was really cool, that was a really positive experience, I want to do more of that, I want to keep giving them my money. So yeah, guys, don't get banned because Xbox is watching, they got AI watching us, they got humans watching us. Next up, I wanted to talk about Planet of Lana. This is a game that should be already available on Game Pass by the time this video goes up. Xbox was kind enough to give me a review copy for this game, so big shout out to them. Planet of Lana is a game where you are this little girl chilling on this planet. You are part of this like really quaint, cool fishing village, and the game opens up with you chasing your sister through the village and through this beautiful, lush landscape. The music is wonderful. You're chasing your sister, you're laughing, you're giggling, and then all of a sudden it's not so wonderful anymore because these big machines, War of the World style, come out of the sky and start abducting people and taking them away. One of them being your older sister that you were chasing at the beginning of this game, and now falls to you to find out where your sister was taken and hopefully free her. You then start to realize, okay, maybe there's a little bit of a connection between these big machines that mysteriously appeared out of the sky and our own planet. And oh yeah, you end up finding like this little cute shadow cat that helps you out in your adventure. Planet of Lana is part platform, part puzzle solving game. The world of this game was absolutely gorgeous, especially in those foresty parts, in the more like nature focused areas of this game. I was like, hold up, am I playing through a freaking version of Princess Mononoke? There are two things that I feel like this game does particularly well when it comes to visuals. They're really good at demonstrating both distance and scale in this game. This is yet another indie game where it's like, okay, the art design, the direction, it is wonderful. I also appreciated that this game, it's like, okay, I kind of gotta think, right? You're this little girl, Lana, you don't have any crazy powers, so a lot of this game revolves around stealth. You are very, very vulnerable. This is a world where if you jump too high and you fall down, you will die. If you go and you try to fight this little pig monster, you're gonna die. If one of the freaking robots comes and finds you, you will die. So that kind of ever-present threat kept the game interesting to me. It was like, okay, I gotta be really clever on how I figure out how I'm gonna get to the next stage, how I'm gonna get past this robot, how I'm gonna use the things at my disposal to progress through this game. I will say for a platformer, I wanted it to have, sometimes the controls felt a little stiff, a little sticky. For example, you cannot turn around and jump at the same time. I learned that the hard way and died many, many times. It's like you gotta turn around and then do like a little awkward jump and pray that you make it in time before you get run over by a freaking hog monster. And I will say, while the puzzles weren't like super difficult, I did get stuck at a few points, and with a lot of games in this genre, I feel like when you get stuck, everything that is good about the game, it just comes to a grinding halt. And it's like, while I'm figuring out this puzzle that I can't figure out, I'm thinking, okay, I could literally be doing anything else that would be way more entertaining than this. But difficulty-wise, there was nothing too crazy about the puzzles here. There is no dialogue and the story is kind of whatever, but I did find the connection between these visiting aliens and this planet interesting enough to keep playing. I wanted to find out what that connection was. This is a game that is not going to be for everyone. If you don't like puzzle games, you're not going to like this game. This game is all puzzle. But I will say that there were some moments where I was like, okay, this is very clever. I do enjoy the world. And the game is also super short. You can beat it within like 4 to 6 hours tops. I love a game that lets you pet the animals that are in the game. If you want to check out Planet of Lana yourself, it'll be available through the Microsoft Store and Game Pass as of May 23rd. It'll definitely be available by the time this video goes up. Anyways, guys, that's all the news I have for today. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video.